loading. Come on. Why is this not going live? Come on.
Here's our musical intro.
Okay. Wait a moment, then try again.
When I wake up
We're live.
in the morning light, I put on my jeans and I feel all right. Hi, guys. How are you today? Welcome to the Knit Night podcast. This is just a bunch of friends hanging out together doing knitting and crafting. My name is Jo Bob, and I am situated in central New South Wales, not to be confused with the old Wales where the Pommies live. No, I'm down under, and I'm a day ahead of you. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And please introduce yourself, friends.
Hi, I'm Liz. I live in Las Vegas, and I'm from Liz Clothier Designs. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. If you're new, thank you for joining us the first time. And if you're come back more than once, we really appreciate it and hope you keep doing the same.
I'm Therese. I live on the thumb coast of Michigan, right across from Canada. What am I supposed? I forgot what I'm supposed to say.
Just hello. Good morning. Good evening. It's
Hi,
afternoon there.
Good evening. Yeah, I'm here.
No, it's evening there, isn't it? Sorry, I get mixed up between all your old time zones.
It's evening.
The old time zones in the past behind you.
Right.
Welcome, Anne Pinkover. Woo!
Have you recovered from Shark Week, Anne?
Just about. There, and Joe's like, yes, I have a hat. I'm prepared. It is such a cool hat too, Joe.
I love that hat.
You.
Awesome.
My little sharky hat, my bait hat, in case I got eaten. I wasn't sure if I was going to get bitten. So I called it my bait hat just in case, Anne.
There you go. And you didn't get bitten. You win.
Oh, that was so much fun. You did such a wonderful job of getting everyone together.
Yeah, and you were so motivating and fun, and it was really a great experience.
Motivating. I call that threatening, not motivating.
Sometimes you need a little comeuppance to get your stuff done.
She's like my old boarding school mistress. Do it or I'm going to undo it. Do it properly. Oh, and that was so much fun. That was so much fun to do Shark Week. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to next year. What can you tell us about the prize winners? Who won prizes?
Let's see. Oh, sorry. My internet's going in and out. Let's see. Lynn won the grand prize, which is hilarious, especially after everyone's like, is this really, safe and secure? Is this game going to be rigged? I'm like, it is not rigged. And then Lynn won. So
did she not? Was it Lynn who actually said if Neil James wins this, it's rigged?
Probably. That does sound like her.
Mm-hmm.
How funny. Congratulations, Linny. That's awesome.
Also, well, like I said in the video, all of you were entered. I mean, I basically figured, I'm like, you guys put in the email, y'all did the knitting. I'm just like, I'm just going to have it so you can't win your own prizes if you donated something, which is easy enough. Just shuffle them around if that was the case. And it wasn't the case, so it all worked out.
Oh.
And then I'm trying to remember.
We figured,
was it Violet's wife who was another winner?
Yes, she was the second winner. And then
who was the biggest loser?
No.
It's an honor. I mean, somebody won for frogging. That's amazing.
Right. I think Dra, what's her name? I said it in the video, but yeah, my notebook where this is written is on the other side of the room. But
Phaedra.
Neil's friend, who I say Neil's friend, not as if
all our friend.
Yes, she actually visited him in Manchester.
Oh, that's the one that they went to. And they got locked in the building.
Yes. How lovely. See, you got to be in it to win it. That's amazing. Oh, that's great.
And it was funny too, while I was, going through and, tallying up how many points that everybody got. I'm like, well, even if you frogged it, well, she had a shark item, check, another one. And down the line because, I said there'd be extra points for things. I'm like, okay, so one more entry for this and that. I'm like, well, it all counts.
Oh, it was so much fun. And just having that short week, you knew, like, we had plenty of time knowing it was coming up, and then working out what sort of size projects we thought we could do. I was really worried because I did math for weeks, Anne. I honestly did another hat. This is only 88 stitches on DK with a double brim, as I like to do. But I had to do the math to make sure I could do my little sharkies on it.
I love that hat.
A week was good. A week was great. And I think now that I know that this was the inaugural one and hopefully next year there'll be another one, I could even motivate myself to knit a sweater.
That'd be
Okay.
exciting.
If I don't.
I think was one of the names that's suggested.
I think I could do a full long sleeve sweater if I don't do anything else for a week. I'm sure I can.
Just saying it. I think part of the best thing was that you had gave enough time for people to actually plan projects and get supplies in because some knit-alongs, they say, okay, we're going to knit along in 2 weeks, and it's like people don't have time to get ready. And I think that was a big part of it. And it built up the hype too. So I think Anne's frozen.
Oh, that's okay. As long as she doesn't drop out, she's still with us, so she can probably still hear us, hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Calvin. Hi, Calvin. Don't bite Therese. She might bite Cal. She's stressed.
Say hi. Hi, everybody.
Oh, Calvin. Auntie Jo loves you. Cheeky little bug. Oh, look, yeah, kiss Mummy and then bite her. Go on. Cheeky
He's
little
tasting
bugger.
me.
Oh, you've given him such a good life, Therese. Who knows what he endured before he found you. He's landed in the right home.
I'm saying if he bites her, she might bite back. She's having a rough week.
Yeah.
It might take a long time for him to get over his trauma from his previous life. So, it's just going to take time and a lot of love and reassurances that he's got a good home now.
He mostly does it when he's tired. At nighttime is witching hour, He gets tired, and then you just can't mess with him. Just leave him alone, let him be,
Yeah.
So that's easy enough.
That's just like a little toddler, isn't he? Like, I remember when witching hour was, on dusk. Now it's first thing in the morning when you've got teenagers. Good grief, they try me. I tell you, those girls test me in the mornings. I'm so glad I get to talk to you after a crappy morning of rushing around and door slamming, not once, but twice. Oh, sometimes you wonder, yeah. But today I was wondering, have you girls got your supplies ready? Because last week I mentioned that we should possibly start Ranunculus because Therese mentioned that she had all the gear ready to go. Have you got, look at you smiling, Lizzie. Look at you smiling. How many Ranunculus? Have you already done one earlier?
No, I cast on last night.
Show me.
And this is special yarn. Liz from You and Dye, our dear friend who's not dyeing yarn anymore, she dyed this for me to match my logo. And so hopefully it's going to work because my gauge is off, but we'll see.
How can you gauge? Hang on. You gauge swatch for a Ranunculus?
I don't ever knit with needles bigger than 4 millimeter or 5 millimeters. So I had to.
Six. So did you actually, hang on, did you actually cast on with 6 millimeter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't
find a small enough 6 mil circular, and my liquor, what are they? Cypress, whatever, the copper ones, their cable is too long. So I actually cast on with 5.5 mil because I just found a little short circular to cast on.
Well, I have the Knit Picks shorties. They're a little set of these ones, and they have the little tiny needle.
Oh,
so,
okay.
That's what I need. Yeah.
I've never seen those.
Yeah, they do the whole set. It's from like 3 to 6 millimeter for hats and stuff. They're on sale right now, 30% off.
Wow.
The set's normally like $50, and then it's 30% off of that.
On sale where? Not that you're enabling me. Sorry?
Knit Picks. Or you
Oh,
can get it
okay.
off of,
On books
it's
themselves.
not on
Okay.
sale on Amazon, but you can get them from Amazon too, the set. It's like $55 for the whole set. But they're the really short tips with the cable, so they're not quite 16 inches, so you
Yeah.
don't have to worry about the needle being too long.
Gee,
Yeah.
why
Hang
would
on.
anybody have a problem with that?
Let me fluff my stash. Sorry for any plastic noises. Yeah, see, I don't know where these. Oh, they're 5mm. Maybe I cast on with 5mm. Hang on a minute. I just found these little ones, and they're a good neck size. They're wooden, which I'm not a fan of. I don't even know where they came from. They just say 5mm. Otherwise, it was like 7mm, 8mm for the little ones. I don't know where. I did have a 6mm one a long time ago. I'm not sure. I honestly am not organised today. I've brought so many little bags of bits and pieces. Oh, hang on. What's that one? Let me check what that. And gosh, I mean, you should see.
That's
Seriously.
bigger. That looks
That is bigger. I've got a 5mm one here as well. I just sort of looking through my needle stash. Let me find a gauge and find out what size that one is. Therese, have you started on your ranunculus as well? You're not casting on with me today?
I cast it on and now I have to frog because I'm having the opposite issue that Liz is having. My needle tips are too long and or my cord is too long.
Me too.
And so I can't attach. I joined it and knit around magic loop, but I don't want to do the whole thing magic loop.
Oh, good grief, no.
So I either have to try to see if I have another cord or I'm going to change yarns.
But honestly, don't change yarns. Honestly,
I don't think the yarn, it's still going to be the same if you change the yarn. That won't change the needle tip if you want.
Yeah, don't change yarns. Change needle size even, like I've had to do, because 4mm. I've got all the needles in here. I'm just looking for a gauge, which of course I've got like 15 of them, and I can't find the one I threw in the bag last night.
What size needle are you using, Therese?
A 10.
Can
Yeah. Which
you
is
got gauge for that?
Go down a size. Here we go. Hang on. What size is this one?
Okay, filling me gauge.
Change.
And they're yelling at me for watching.
Oh, 6mm. Oh, I found a 6mm. God, I'm an idiot. Okay. Well, I'm going to use this today then to cast on. But no, trees, go down. This is 5mm, and let me show you. I don't know what yarn you've got. That's why I was asking how you're going. Look, honestly, this neck is so open and airy, and let's just move my old lady hair out of it. The neck is so open and airy. Look at that. It's huge. Let me put it on and show you.
Mine's not that big. Mine's not that big.
Yours isn't that big. Imagine if it was Neil's, it'd be like a bracelet. But honestly, it's plenty of room. Look, and it's not even, not washed or anything. So look how big that neck is.
This might be Riley's, and it might go up a needle.
Oh, let me sit up straight. There you go. So that's 5mm with one strand of. Where's my yarn now that I'm carrying on? I really don't think it matters what needle you start with. This is Joe Sharp's Alpaca Kid Lustra, 30% superfine alpaca luster. Listen to me. Sound like Neil. 30% superfine alpaca, 40% kid mohair, 30% merino. So this is what ply? It's only 8 ply. It's just under 8 ply, 50 grams, 121 yards. And it says USA 6, so it's usually on a 4mm needle. Yeah, it's like it's just like a very light 8 ply because it's only a double ply, 2 ply, loosely woven. So
it's like a sport to a DK, is that it?
Look,
between a sport
and that's just it's a sport really. It's so light. It's just that look, don't look at my fingers. My cuticles are disgusting. There you go. It's just a really lightly woven with a bit of mohair and a bit of alpaca. So it's going to stretch like the ballio. And I honestly don't think it really matters, Therese, if you went down to a 5 or a 5.5. The neck is.
But I can't get the yarn. I cannot knit it. It's not. It's joined and it's like this far
The
apart.
needle,
I can't
the needle tip is too long for them to get around.
needle tips.
You know
Are
what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Her
that's why I
tips are
started.
long.
Can't you
It's
pull it
too-
out the side?
No, that's why I started with this tiny thing. It was all I
Oh,
could
she's saying,
find.
oh, Anne's saying doing it with a long needle and not
Yeah,
doing magic loop, but doing the other way.
Oh, I can't
well, I
Or
hack
do
can
the
you
do
have
magic loop.
magic loop, but I don't want to. I
do you
just
have
want
two
to.
No,
circulars?
don't.
Therese, do you have two
Magic loop will
circulars the
stretch
same
it
size?
out.
I'm sorry, I
Have you
can't
not?
hear you.
Do you have two circulars the same size? Because you could just do it with two circulars.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
do.
I learned that
I
from
do
Roxanne.
several sets of 10s. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, but you have
I magic loop absolutely everything, like this sock I'm doing. Yeah, I have
Wow.
magic looped off the
Yeah.
side, even though it's just one sock. Or if I do a hat or something, I'll pull it through only one side, so there's just one loop on the hat.
Right. I gotcha.
Never have I ever.
But I do have two. I can do two circs. That'll be fine.
Yeah, you could do two circs or just choose a different size needle. That's what I did until I got to the increases, and then I changed it over to a 6 mil. But it's really roomy and airy depending on what you knit with. So I started it just because I can't believe the hype. We just say one day, oh, let's knit the ranunculus. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, that's super easy. And then other people are panicking about the crocheted waist yarn cast on for the tubular.
It's so easy.
It's so easy. If you follow the instructions as they are written and don't second guess what the little texture patterns are going to look like until they're done, it's super easy.
It is. It's crazy.
No
easy.
fuss. Except I shouldn't have put this in my Murder Knits bag with the black lining because I've got mohair everywhere now. Oh my goodness, bad choice. So Therese, can we see your yarn? Not that little piece on the cast on. Can we see what your yarn is, please?
Sure. We have,
Please.
we're going to go with,
Oh, that's pretty.
this is Forbidden Fiber,
Of course it
Oh,
is.
that's so pretty.
green, and it's got some tan and other colors. And I'm holding it with a gray mohair,
That'll be
which
nice.
doesn't exactly go, but it doesn't clash either. So,
No, that'll be nice. Okay, get your second needle. Is it within reach? Let's get started.
It is not.
No.
It's in there.
Oh. And you had a sock there with your magic loop tricks, magic loop sorcery.
Mhm.
Who designed that sock?
It is, well, since this is all of that Van Gogh opal yarn, this is one of Anna Knitter's patterns, her God's Promise sock.
Oh, I did those. Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
lovely.
Here, I actually walked over while my internet was rebooted.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Anne, you've frozen for me.
Come back.
Oh gosh, this is such
Oh,
a treat for me. It's not me having technical difficulties.
Exactly.
Sorry,
I've
man.
stolen your technical difficulties. Then you can be free. It's like the scapegoat of internet.
So, yeah, show us again, please. I didn't see them when you were showing the magic loop.
Oh, sure. But yeah, there
Ooh.
they are. I don't know. And the yarn color itself, it does make me think of Anna. I don't know, like the colors she wears and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's
so
where I was-
soft. Oh,
But
they
yeah.
look squishy. Is that like a little puff? Is that some sort of little tiny puff stitch by raising stitches up and changing them the next time?
No, it's just a knit and purl pattern. There's nothing extra special about it.
It's kind of like a basket weave, sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
That's pretty. It shows up in the yarn really well.
Nice. Hey, I like that idea because then you could keep count of your actual stitches on your leg, where I always sit there and try to put a stitch marker in and then I second guess myself and recount 100 times.
But yeah.
Oh, that would make knitting it go faster and faster because I'd want to do each section and then go one more section.
Mm-hmm.
Have you knit that pattern before, Anne?
I really don't remember because I know that I've done her. I forget what it's called, the dragon one.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of her pattern, but yeah, it's very straightforward, very simple. I was sort of laughing when I looked at it because I forgot that she doesn't like give like small, medium, and large instructions. She like has a whole chart to go down. It's like, oh yeah, and just follow this by the chart. I'm like, oh, okay. I forgot how her patterns go.
Yeah.
But no, once I was like, okay, it's actually easy. You just have to pluck the numbers from the chart and then put them in the pattern where they're supposed to be. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
Oh no, that would be a bit tricky for me.
It's not an overly complicated pattern at all. It just, you have to look at it like, oh, okay, this is how she does it. Oh, excuse me with my plastic noise. I'm just looking at my projects. Oh, can I show you before I cast on my ranunculus? I'll show you what else I've been working on this week. I did finish my mosaic shawl with the bright florello. I didn't bring it because we've all seen it enough, and you need sunglasses. On the border, I did everything by the pattern except the needle size. So it started at a 4.5 and went up to a 5.5. I just stayed on 4.5, and when I got to the end, it's just garter stitch, and mine kept flipping up because I stayed on the same gauge. So mine just kept flipping up this big chunky border. So I frogged it, went right down to a 4 mil and just did stocking stitch instead of garter stitch. I just did a couple of stripes of stocking stitch, did a normal cable cast off, a bind off. And now I'm looking at it, it does curl in where the selvage stitches were, and then the bottom sort of sits flat and threatens to flip up again. So I'm wondering if I might just do a lace border or a I-cord border on the bottom of the triangles on both sides. But I don't know. I've just sort of sat it there. I'm not going to wash it and block it yet until I figure out what I'd like to do to finish it off a bit nicer. So it's sitting in timeout. It is finished and cast, I wove in the ends and did all that. But now I'm looking at how I could maybe modify it or enhance it is probably the best way to say it. I started Charlotte's last week. Girls, I got the neck done. And then so that was 1 ball, 2 balls. So I'm just doing the yoke. Oh, sorry. Where's my camera? There it is. So, yeah, just nothing exciting, but it's really, really super soft yarn, skeins. Colors
So pretty.
Super nice. The colour is a fur green. Yeah, it's a nice green, very popular green colour. And I think Charlie will like it. So that's really easy to work on because the yoke is just a repeat of 4 rows, and one of them's a knit row. So I love that when I get to that 3rd row and it's just knit, knit, knit. So that's all I've been working on this week. And today, we talked last week about doing the ranunculus, and then other people said they might like to join us. So I've made a hashtag. Now, when it's not a MCAL or a, what do you call it? It's not a knit along, but it is a knit along. Like if you want to sit there and knit with us and listen to me waffle on, that's amazing. If you have any tips or photos for me, hashtag Knit Night Podcast. So I just thought I'd make it really easy, really simple. And if you've got any photos to show me, any tips, any of your work, even if you're knitting on a beanie or a pair of socks while you're listening, share it with us. You're very welcome to share it with us by hitting hashtag Knit Night Podcast, and we can see what you're up to, because I would definitely like to go and have a sticky beak at what everybody else is doing. I mean, Ranunculus is a 5-year-old pattern. Why has it taken us this long? I was thinking about it last night. Printing it out.
Yeah. Right.
Well, no, it took us 2 years to decide to actually record our ramblings every week, our chat every week. But it's 15 pages, and I think that's what put me off. I printed out, I put it in a plastic sleeve, and then it sits with all the other hundreds of patterns. I think just the sheer length of this pattern just put me off, really. And it's crazy because it's really turning out okay.
And you actually don't use all of those pages because they are size specific, or you want short sleeves, use this page. You want long sleeves, use this page. So it cuts down to maybe like 5 pages total,
Yeah, because I would
Yeah.
think once you get past the split for the sleeves, there's pretty much, you just knit till you're done on the bottom anyway.
Yeah, I like the setup of the actual written pattern. So if you buy the pattern, it was I think revised again last year, but the setup's good.
Yeah.
It's got all the details about the yarn, the needles, the gauge, which I ignore that at the bottom. It's like reading the fine print. I just tick yes and or sign my autograph. So I never read that. What put me off really was German short rows, but they're nothing. And then the tubular cast on. Yeah, you guys had me going last week with the tubular cast on.
I told you it was easy.
It's super easy. Super easy. I don't know if you guys have been watching Get Flocked in New Zealand. Ethan, and I watched Skeins, of course. Marie Buskey spoke about this in her last podcast as well. Ethan has a real distaste for the love note and the ranunculus and any sort of lacy, loosey-goosey thing. And I have to agree with him, and I'm really looking forward to what he's got to say about it, because he is doing a ranunculus knit-along soon. So this is a really good warm-up, a precursor. Get all your gear ready, find out all the tips and tricks, and then you could join his knit-along. It's in probably a week or so. So have a look out for that. I'm interested because I know he is severely more sarcastic than I am and more blunt. Probably, I think on the honesty level, we're probably both very blunt. I don't like the neckline at all. I do not like it. It's easy, but I don't like the aesthetics of it. I don't like how it sits. I don't like how it knits up. But I'm going to do it because I want to say that I've made a ranunculus. So, yeah, that put me off. What else? All the short rows, you go, why? Golly gee, it's just a baggy potato sack that you're hanging over you. But it does make a difference, and it looks really cute. And then I have just done the yoke. So I'm only up to... I've done section 1, 2, and 3 just as a run through. In this, seriously, this Joe Sharp wool costs me $4 a ball. So I figured, $20 sweater or $24 sweater, and if I stuff it up, I won't be upset. But I did that because this wool did cost me a bit. It's it's fibre lily. These are all one of a kind that Kylie had dyed up in chunky alpaca. So some have got colour, like a tan and black and pink, but I mean none of them are really matching. This one's a different gold with blue and like teal and blue. So none of them are matching. They're all off, but they're one of a kinds, and I just bought them anyway because I just love Kylie's work. That's a
those will be fun to do.
Light. It's looks like a pale sort of coffee colour with green and pink, and then there's a green with purple and blue and brown. She was obviously just playing around with colours, and I thought, well, who cares? Yeah, why not? But this cost me a little bit more money, so it's been an investment that's just been sitting there waiting for the right project, and I'm just going to throw them all together in this and cast on. Really pretty. Well, yeah, it's not going to be the one colour. It's not a fade. There's actually very different tones there that don't really go with each other that you wouldn't normally put together, but I'm going to. And, of course, I don't know how much I'm going to need. With a chunky yarn, is it still going to be the same meterage? I mean, the pattern doesn't say anything different, and except for longer sleeve.
Yeah, you should be fine. I mean, as long as your stitch.
I've got plenty. I really do want long sleeves, and I do really want a longer body because, my guts hanging out is not pleasant or attractive for anyone to look at. Or it could be over a dress or a shirt, which is fine. But then still you got the muffin top that looks like you're still pregnant from 20 years ago.
It'll have a very look, like a very Monet kind of water lilies look going through those colors.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
what I find really interesting about this pattern is the first 3 sections, you're knitting all the same. There's no change in size. There's no different stitches. It's all the same. And then, unfortunately, when you get to size 4, you got to measure your bust. That's when the fun begins. So I measured my bust. I measured my bust this morning to work out what size. You know, the bust changes day to day. I think I said to Therese yesterday, was it you, Therese? We're talking about boob tubes, tops.
Oh, because I saw that girl. I was at the hospital and I was looking out the window while I was talking to Joe, and this girl walked by. Right. And I was like, "Oh, honey, don't." She was.
And I said,
wearing a tube top. She should not have been. I actually
and
said
if that was me,
top, but yeah.
Just between the 4 of us, I said if that was me, my boobs would be like down to my belly button, like origami folded paper. Yep. So I measured my bust this morning, and I'm just wondering what size I'm going with. So that's the only question I've got for today. How much positive ease does a busty girl want?
I don't know. Hey, Anne, how many more skeins of opal do you have to go through before you can knit a ranunculus?
I don't know, like 5.
So next week sometime, right?
Yeah, not quite. I still have the Isom shawl to pull up. Yeah, well, and then Neil and I were talking, and we got like some superhero knit plans. We're kind of conspiring over there. So I want to get the shawl done and written. But yeah, I'm no help for you, Joe, when it comes to what pattern size, because I'm not very good with swatching, and I'm not very good with fitting my knits. So
me either, and I don't swatch. So I'm going to
swatch what's wrong anyways. So I'm like, yeah.
According to Tabitha, swatch is wrong.
I know what my bust size is, but how much positive ease do I want, really? Well, I don't know. That's my dilemma today. So
I want some, but I don't want it huge. I don't want to look like a hobo.
Well, and the thing is, too, the bigger the shirt is, the bigger you look, you know. And nobody wants that.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to leave it for anybody listening to tell me how much positive ease, if you've knit a ranunculus, which one is your favorite? Like, what kind of ease have you put into it? How much ease do you suggest? So if I would really like to leave this now until next week to start section 4 and cast on my chunky alpaca, because we're all knitting the same size, and that's great. And there's so many people have done it. I mean, how many thousands and thousands of people have knit this? I want to know, do I want a lot of positive ease? I'm good with a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt and throw over something that's a bit floaty and baggy. I like a baggy sweater, but I don't want to look like I'm pregnant, no. Or I don't want it to look like I bought something and I got the wrong size. You know, I bought an oversized jumper.
If you split for the sleeves and you think it's too wide, you can always bring in the waist some.
No, I've got boobs. So having boobs and having like a barrel-shaped body, I'm pretty much straight up and down. My waist is the same size as my.
Always throw a belt on over your sweater and be super chic that way.
You like the 80s, yeah.
The Cal runs until it's done. There's no time limit and no official start. It's not really Cal. We're just knitting it, and we want people to knit with us. So there's no pressure.
Yeah. And Tabitha's trying to sabotage you, Joe.
Why?
There you go. Joe's turn.
A million inches of ease. Tabitha, you can't have my ranunculus. I'm not sending it to you. Just being a brat. I love you, Tabs. Positive ease. Yeah, I like to be comfortable. I don't want to do an Amy and have to wear Spanx and squeeze in and out just to wear a bloody sweater. I want to just throw it on and look fabulous, like I didn't care, which is how I dress anyway. I don't care.
Elle here.
Elle says 4 inches is good.
Oh, thank you. So 4%. Yeah, it will grow because I'm knitting with alpaca, so it will grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
4%. Okay, 4%.
4 inches.
Oh,
4
sorry,
inches.
4 inches. God, 4%, and it will fit me and
That's
Tabitha.
not too
Oh,
bad.
Tabitha, if I knit it and it's giant, we could wear it together. We could both be in it with our arms in the sleeves and our bodies together.
Be your get along shirt.
That's a good visual. You know, like they threaten to do to kids who argue, put them in the same sweater together. That'd be me and Tabs. That'd be funny. We wouldn't be able to stop laughing. She would have to spoon me, I think, because if I was face to face with Tabs, her nose would be down at my boobs because she's so little. So that would be hilarious. And let's not have that visual. Thank God, thank God Neil James is not here.
Wendy
Yeah,
said
Wendy's absolutely right.
Oh, see, 2 to 4 inches. Yeah, I don't want to look like a brick outhouse, like giant and, oh, gosh. Okay, so far 4 inches and maybe 2 inches. I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at the chart. Oh, golly, what size would that take me to? 2 inches. Oh, now see, I have a real issue with that because 2 inches would take me to B1, size 1.
That's what I'm doing.
Hey, guys, no, I'm not a little person. I'm 5'6.5", but
how often are you going to get to knit a size 1 of a pattern?
Would make 2 to 4 inches.
Like extra small.
Maybe it's the skinnier girls who want the extra big ones.
4 inches would make me a size 1.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm shocked because I normally would say, oh, yes, I'm a large, so I need a size 3 or 4 even sometimes. Right. Oh, my gosh. I've got to think about this. I need
we're the skinny people now.
Except in China, except in Asian countries where skinny people are like my friend, you girls. Oh, I don't know if Anne knows my friend Joelle. Joelle is Filipino and she's a stick. She is so thin and so tiny and delicate. She's gorgeous. She's really gorgeous. But she's the kind of girl who can throw anything on, seriously anything, and look amazing, whether it's baggy or skin tight. She's like a supermodel. One of those, what's under a size 2? Is it a 0? She's like extra small. She's tiny. I'm shocked now, guys. What size trees were you planning on? A 1?
46, 46 inches, yeah.
This is what Wendy said.
Oh, Wendy, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
See, I wear a large too. I'm not a medium girl in anything. I have to wear a large. Knit the size 1. I'm shocked. I'm so glad we went live today because I would have made a big mistake then. I would have been really upset with myself.
You would have tried it on before you split for the sleeves and realized.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's just the yoky sort of, yeah. And I guess if I thought it was loose and floaty, I'm expecting that's how it's supposed to look. But I don't want to wear a tent.
Thanks, Wendy. And everybody who responded, we appreciate it. Even Tabitha with her snark. Joe loves it.
Yeah, I chose the size 1, but I was questioning whether it was going to be too tight. So this is great.
Yeah. This is great feedback. I'm really, really happy about this feedback because I'm not kidding you. I was looking at number 3 because I'm a large person. But I don't want a tent. And I love Tabitha. Tabitha can say anything to me today because I've got her yarn that she shared with me. A 3, and I'm going to give it away. Oh, no. What a shame. If it was in pure wool, you could shrink it and felt it, but then it would feel funky, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be any fun.
I don't know. It's the big Edwardian puff sleeves that are in again. It's very Anne of Green Gables. And I keep seeing all of these ads for this. I'm like, people aren't wearing this. And then like I'm sure I said this before, but I saw a pack of teenage girls and they were all wearing puff sleeves, like store-bought puff sleeve sweaters and shirts. And I'm like, what? And they were like the fashion forward teenage girls. I'm just like, I hope they weren't thinking I was rude staring, but I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this now. I guess this is how it's gonna be.
It's like an episode with the puffy shirt. Yeah.
Wow. And I wonder about that longer neck. Have you, Teresa, are you doing the smaller neck? Yes, you are, because you can't get your stitches across to the other side.
Right.
What are you doing? Liz,
is it stable?
Are you doing a wide neck?
I did the wide, since I only got 15 inches instead of 14 inches. So I did the wide neck so that it would be a little smaller. I didn't want to do, since my gauge is too small, I figured if I did the wide neck, it would fit right.
I can't believe you gauge swatched. That's hilarious.
I
Gauge
never knit
swatch.
with anything bigger than a 5.
That's
And
hilarious.
doesn't Sable Knits do some puff sleeve sweaters?
Yes, I've bought a couple of her sweater patterns.
I
Like
have
she
a
had,
couple too, but I haven't
yeah,
knit
that
yet.
she had a sale one time. I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. And I admit that I'm a little, I don't know, that I haven't. I have yarn for one that I got. I got this beautiful potions yarn. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna knit this sweater. I forget what it's called, but it's a square necked one, but it has puffier sleeves. And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gonna do this. And every time I look at it, I'm like, I'm not sure how those sleeves would look on me, though. I just go back and forth on that one. I'm like, maybe I should just do it. And then, you know what? If I have to rip back
Is her book out in English yet, do you know? Anne, when we're not frozen? I think we lost Anne again.
Yeah, she's there. I can see Anne's, but I don't know if we've got volume.
Anne, do you know if her book's in English yet?
I have no idea. I don't. And I would also say that one issue, sorry that my internet cut out mid-rant, but my one issue with her pattern is looking it over. She just tells you the brand of yarn. She doesn't tell you the weight of yarn. And I don't know if that's common. I forget which country she's from. I want to say Norway, but that might not be it. But I don't know if, I think she's from a Nordic country. I mean, I don't know. But I don't know if that's common with their sweater patterns, that they, whatever weight it is, because I've got no clue. But yeah, so having to do extra math to see if my yarn is correct is yet another hurdle for that one. Like,
Yeah, just wing it.
I guess.
Just go for it.
Swatches lie. If you have to pull it out with something else for the yarn because it's potions yarn and it's gorgeous.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's the Jane Bennett yarn, so it's all lilac colors and speckled, and it's fantastic.
I knew that one. That's a gorgeous color.
Yeah.
So, Joe is sorting. Are you doing office work in your movable office?
Yeah, no, well, I am going to cast on. I'm seriously, if you're watching or listening, cast on. I'm going to cast on. Just grab anything and get started. You really don't need much wool at all, much yarn. And it doesn't matter what weight. That's what I love. This is an experiment for me. So chunky alpaca. I have got one ball that I wound up for another project, but had not started.
Oh,
So I'm thinking, because it's, you do? I might just cast on with this. I mean, the colours are all so different from each other. It's just going to be a mishmash match
Are you gonna fade them or just color block them?
No, I'm just going to knit. I'm just going to, I don't know, close my eyes. I haven't wound up these ones yet. They're in a plastic bag because that's how I roll. No, I'm just, well, this one's already ready to go. I wound it up, so I balled it up. So I'm going to, and I found apparently a 6 mil. Yeah, it says 6 mil. So all I need to do is find a crochet hook and I'm going to get started. I'm sure I've got one of those here in my mobile office. I'm sure, positive I have a crochet hook because I always keep crochet hooks in with my notions. Oh, I just dropped my needle. That's okay. I'll find it again in a minute. Okay. Crochet hook. Hang on. There we go. I don't even care what size it is. I don't even know. Looks
Doesn't
chunky
matter.
enough for me. Yeah, it looks chunky enough for me. Need a bit of scrap yarn. And I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to cast on. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not going to rush it. I've obviously got the 2 on the needles. Excuse me while I find my needle I just dropped under my car seat.
Oh, we are high
Oh,
tech.
it's so foggy. Can you see all the lovely scenery out of my window? It's called fog.
Yeah.
And the fog hasn't lifted yet. Okay, so I've got my needle.
We're having a thunderstorm right now, and I'm hoping that the power does not go out.
I wish we would have a thunderstorm. We had it's a 109 here today. And if you look at the what the forecast comment has a very rude term. I had to look it up. You don't want to look it up.
Okay. Oh, I saw you post. Yeah.
I posted it in the chat. You don't want to look it up. It describes a certain activity.
Oh, your weather. Okay, I've got a bit of scrap yarn. That's it. That'll do it. And I'm not giving it away. Yeah, I'll just crochet it. I'm not a crocheter, but hey, I can do a chain. So I'm not giving anything away with the pattern, but guys, I'm starting. So
Yay.
Therese,
Yes,
what are you actually knitting? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What are you actually knitting on if you're not doing your ranunculus today?
I've been working on socks for David.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that. I love that color.
Patterns, the rag colors, stripes. I've done another one. I think 2 other pairs for him, actually. They're just easy, round and round and round and round and round.
I love those colorways, stripe pattern though.
A little bit of murder knit shawl, but not a lot because this traveling back and forth to the hospital, it's an hour drive. And I'm not taking cable projects to the hospital because there's too many interruptions. There's too many, Yeah.
So how is my friend David? Was he happy to get a phone call from Tomorrowland?
Yes, he was. He's like, oh, your friend called me. So I'm thinking it was my friend here, Steph, or maybe his friend AJ, who sometimes he says your friend,
Your friend,
And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, she called. Joe called. I'm like, what? Joe called.
Joe called from the future.
Yeah, from the future.
Yeah, I called your husband and he said, oh, Teresa's just left the room. And I said, that's okay. I'm not calling her. I'm calling you to check on you. So I had a lovely
phone number. You have mad detective skills, apparently.
I hunt. Yeah, I know how to hunt people down. So I had I had his number and I rang him before his surgery. And he sounded very positive and he said something to me and I just went, okay, because he said it's in God's hands, and me being an atheist, I went, okay, I completely respect that, and that's what gets you through, and that's your faith. So I thought that was lovely that he said that, and that's how he was feeling, really positive. But tell us, how did he go? Because I haven't called him afterwards. I would imagine that he's got a very sore throat. How did he go?
He had a little bit of sore throat, mostly from the breathing tube. His neck is better. He can't twist it. He can't turn it. He's got a brace on. It's funny, the incision, they went through the front, and the first time he had it done, because he had the 4-level fusion 5 years ago, And I'm going to the store and I'm buying these giant gauze patches and tape, and I'm thinking he's going to have all this. There's a Band-Aid. So I'm like, really?
Wow.
I mean, there's literally a Band-Aid where the incision is.
That's
Yay.
fantastic. That's so good, Therese.
So is it orthoscopic surgery where they just go in with the little micro tools?
I don't know what he does. He carries his little tools around like a chef, but they're tiny. He's got a little metal case, and he carries his knives around with him.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem right now, on vacation, yay! I wish I was on vacation. The problem right now is they wanted to send him home today, and he can't walk because he still has a hip that needs to be replaced, and they somehow don't coordinate one part of the hospital with another, because we have told them numerous times throughout the week that he's been there that he's scheduled for hip surgery. And so they're like, well, why can't you walk? Because my hip. Well, what's wrong with your hip? It needs to be replaced. But why can't you walk? Because I need a hip replaced. Like, what don't you understand? It should be in the chart.
Yeah, on his records. Yeah.
So that's been a little frustrating. So because they want to send him home, and I'm like, well, no, he has to be able to get in and out of a car, and he has to be able to go up 4 steps, because I'm going to get him home and not be able to get him out of the car. And then now what?
He needs to be able to sit down, not being crude, but he needs to be able to sit down by himself and go to the toilet and wipe his own bottom and come back out of that toilet without your help. Yeah, he needs to be able to do all those little things. Like you said, if he can't have that motion to move his neck, he won't have that peripheral vision either. He'll have issues, and he might be clumsy and walk into doorways.
Or dogs, or
dogs. Yeah.
Not only that not being able to do that and having to rely on you will stress him out more.
Yes.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah.
He won't want to have to put you through that.
And more importantly, it will stress me out more, and we can't have that.
True. Very true.
Oh, my goodness.
Were there a lot of people how many people were participating in Shark Week?
There's heaps in the Telegram group.
Yeah, it was definitely over 100. I want to say closer to 110.
Wow. That's very good.
Yeah, that's really good turnout.
And I'm old school too. When I did the Woke Bloke Cal, I put everybody's names in little pieces of paper and actually put them in a hat.
Well, I might have done that too. Some people, if they 5 or 6 entries, like I've heard your name that many times, like for that many people, I think again, all this information is on the other side. But I think like tallying it up, it ended up being like 270 or something was what we had for a random number generator for whose number would be pulled.
Wow.
So having that many little slips of paper would have been a lot.
I thought that was funny when you're doing it old school. I love that DK saying, I can do a spreadsheet for you. And I'm thinking, I don't know how to do that.
Right.
She's so clever.
Like, I don't know how to do that either. Amy in the chat. Hi, Amy. She's like, it's okay. I can sit you down and, teach you. I'm like, okay, for next year, we can figure things out next year, or you can tell me a lot of things and we'll do it the same way, but we'll make a good effort.
And for holding her to that next year, it's on record now that she said she's going to try it.
Right.
Hi, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
So.
Amy was driving. She's given us drive-by smooches. Oh, my goodness. Well, at least she's not giving me the bird.
It might be.
She might do that from her chat. I don't know. Her podcast. I don't know.
She's probably doing it in spirit.
Amy says, I'll be your Google form Obi-Wan. The ghost of Amy will be behind my shoulder saying,
The ghost of Amy.
trust your instincts. I'm like, oh, my instincts are wrong.
It's almost like I can still hear her voice. It's almost like she's still here.
Oh my goodness.
That's like when they were doing the intake for David at the hospital, they were getting a baseline for him. And one of the questions was, how is your judgment? I was like, ooh, it's not good. It's not good. He's made some very bad decisions in his life.
Hang on, you're not supposed to answer that for him. That's up for him to decide.
Really, she is. She's his wife. She's supposed to make those decisions.
Just imagine the doctor. He's looking at him and he's like, yeah, I'm good. And looking over you and you're like.
And she's going.
Well, that's what happens. He doesn't tell the truth to his doctor. The doctor will say, well, how have you been? Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. And I'm over there. No, he's not, So this doctor, his surgeon is amazing. He loves me because I tell him the truth. And I'm like, no. Good. I'm like, David, stop right now. I always go in with him because he doesn't tell the truth. And they're not going to help you if you can't, they don't know what.
They don't tell the truth to doctors.
He's trying to be the big, strong, Guido.
Yeah. Until they get the man flu, then they're all about death and dying.
True. Okay, here's something I want to know. Okay, 2 things. First off, I went and saw Oppenheimer. Okay, and it was really good. It was long, but it really makes you think. Like, you walk out of there with a lot to think about. My question is, when did nerdy, geeky guys become considered non-attractive? Because all the scientists and all the physicists were all having affairs, multiple affairs. So when did our culture decide that nerdy, geeky guys are unattractive? Because it must have been some kind of cultural shift, because Oppenheimer and all of them, Einstein, they all had their secret love affairs and stuff. So it was very surprising.
Einstein?
Did they? I didn't know that.
Einstein was dating his cousin while he was married. Ooh. It's not in the movie. It's something I knew. And the other thing that really got to me was that if I had known when I was in school that people like Einstein and Oppenheimer couldn't do math, it would have made a huge difference to someone like me who couldn't math. If kids are taught, just because, you can't do math doesn't mean you're not smart and you can't be successful. I mean, these physicists, who created these amazing things like, the A-bomb and all that, couldn't do math. They had mathematicians doing time.
They always show Einstein with all the symbols around him and everything, like he's all a big mathematician.
He didn't like doing math. He said he wasn't good at it. And to me, that's like, you should teach kids that, so you can be smart and still be in science, even if math isn't your strong suit.
Yeah, that if the mathematical concepts don't make sense to you, perhaps other concepts make sense to you. So if you can just get a handle so far as...
That's what happened to Oppenheimer, because he was not good in the lab. And his mentor, Niels Bohr, told him, you need to be doing theory, not practical, because you're not good at theory. I mean, you're not good at the practical part of it. And that's what he studied, the theory of particle physics. But it just was very, like, I think, that's the history they should teach the kids when they talk about these scientists, make them, that they're human beings. But it was a very good movie. It really makes you think. I felt really bad for the scientists, because after the war, they just kind of got ditched. We're done with you.
That's a lot of people who are useful in wartime.
Yeah. The acting was super. There was a couple of sex scenes. They weren't too bad. Unexpected. The one was anyway, but it was a good movie.
The nudie Rudy one, the full nude.
There were 2 full nude scenes.
Were they necessary for the movie? I mean, hasn't it got an R rating? I know here in Australia it's going to have an R rating. So was it necessary for the movie?
Well, the movie, you're kind of in Oppenheimer's brain, so you're seeing in how he's thinking and everything. So the one definitely was necessary, because the second one, I don't know if they had to go that far to have the scene. I mean, it was shocking, because he was after the war, when they were trying to take his security clearance away falsely, because he had come with his friends and whatever. He had been followed, and he met with his mistress, who was a communist. And they showed the
Right.
scene was them naked having sex in this room, which of course didn't happen with witnesses, but it was in his brain imagining it. And I don't know if
Yep.
they needed to do that, but the first one was it was part of the story. But he was a very complicated man, and just some of these people were so incredibly brilliant, like these
Yeah.
scientists. It's just crazy how it all happened, the whole bomb and everything, and how they didn't want it. They really didn't want it used. I mean, they wanted it used against Germany because most of the scientists were Jewish, and they knew what Hitler was doing, so they were okay building. And they thought Nazi Germany was building one too. Turns out they weren't, but they thought they were because they assumed Germany would do what they would do. Because Einstein told them, if you're going to build this, then Germany's going to build it too. But then after
Right.
the Germany surrendered and they wanted to use it on Japan, the scientists were like, but Japan's going to surrender too. And the military's like, but they won't.
No, they won't.
A lot of the scientists didn't want it. I mean, Oppenheimer was a polarizing figure. A lot of them didn't like him, and that was part of his downfall. He was not right to the certain people. Like, he made certain people look like fools, and it came back to bite him. And he had too many communist contacts, even though he wasn't communist himself.
Right.
His wife had been a member of the Communist Party years before. He hung out with communists. His brother had been a member of the party, but they'd all left, before the war. But he was very patriotic to America. Like, he would do anything for his country. And his country used him and then just kind of tossed him aside.
Liz, honestly, I had never heard of him until this movie came out. I had never heard of him until I saw the publicity. I don't know who he is. So I think it's really interesting. And like you said, it should be a film that especially younger people get to see so that they can see what you've just explained about the math and about your possibilities and how you learn differently from each other. But why make it R-rated? That just excludes so many young people who would really benefit from seeing it.
He was an R-rated person. Like, he had some questionable personal morals. Like, he had no compunction having affairs. Like, that was part of his character.
So was he just a lech? Was he eccentric or just a lecherous man?
No, he's eccentric. I think he made connections with women, and for different reasons, different women. Like, his first fiance, they broke up more than once, and then he thought he loved her more than she loved him. And when she ended it, he ended up marrying someone else. But there was still that connection. I think it was part of normalcy because everything in his life, in his work, was theory and trying to build this bomb. And I think having connections with people, that was part of it. But I don't know. A lot of these scientists they were all having affairs. Like, his one wife, he hooked up with her while she was still married to someone else. And she got pregnant, so she had to divorce her husband to marry him. And I'm like, when did all these scientists become such, sex people? Because you never think of, Einstein and all these people. But the acting was really, really good. I think that anyone taking an ethics class, they should show it because there's a lot about, a lot of ethical questions that go on, not just about the bomb, but just how government and war. So it was very good. I did not watch the Barbie movie. I don't plan to watch the Barbie movie.
You didn't do the Barbenheimer double feature.
No.
A friend of mine did.
I'm an adult. I'm over Barbie.
Oppenheimer was 3 hours. Even if I was going to see another movie, it wouldn't be the same day, probably.
Yeah, that'd be.
Well, you said about how, there was stuff in there that you didn't learn in school. And I saw a thing today. I think it was Glenn Beck. Was talking about stuff adjacent to Oppenheimer. And he actually has some of the leaflets that we dropped on Japan, telling the people in Japanese, get out. Millions and millions of leaflets.
The scientists asked for that.
I didn't know that.
The scientists who were part of the Los Alamos, the Manhattan Project, they asked that they would do that.
I never knew that.
Interesting is one of his bosses, who was part of the atomic thing, who was screwing him, was up for being part of the cabinet. And when he's in his cabinet hearing, you find out what he did to Oppenheimer. And this guy would have been confirmed to be in the president's cabinet because they said no one since like 1900s, and there's been no person nominated not confirmed for a presidential cabinet. Whoever the president usually picks gets confirmed, and he did it because they came out in the hearings what he had done to Oppenheimer. And the one senator that stopped it was a young junior senator from Massachusetts who is JFK, because he had been in the Pacific when he served, and he knew how the Japanese were, and he knew the bomb was necessary. And then years later, Oppenheimer finally got an award for what he had done, and it was Kennedy who instigated the award, but it came after Kennedy died because he was assassinated before the award ceremony.
They were not going to stop. The Japanese particularly, and I don't know if other Asian cultures have this, but they have a saving face thing. They will not
dishonor.
What's that?
Death before
Honor.
Yes.
dishonor.
Yep. It's a saving face, and they're not going to stop. And they would have fought tooth and nail until every last man, woman, and child was dead, And what are you going to do?
Yeah, and that's what the scientists had to understand. Like that's what they told them, that they won't stop. But it was weird because it was like when they were driving the bombs away from Los Alamos after they were completed, you could see how some of them were realizing, yes, they are going to use these. To some of them, it had just been, a scientific project. Can we do this? It was in their brain. Can we? Yeah. Well, can we actually make it happen? And then they tested it, and they could. But I think it really set in when once the bombs were gone, and they had no say over whether they were used or not. But it was very interesting. My son wanted to go, so we went and saw it, and very conflicted because no one was really a good guy. Everyone was complex and had their issues. So it wasn't a good versus evil story, really.
Not like Batman. I watched Batman this weekend. That's what I did.
I would watch Batman again because I love Batman, but Christopher Nolan did a brilliant job. Like, he's a brilliant director, and Cillian Murphy was phenomenal as Oppenheimer. Like, he should win an Oscar. He was very good. But yeah, so that was my weekend.
Nice.
Is Joe counting? Are you done with the ribbon yet?
No, hang on. No. I just because I was not focusing, I just cast on too many stitches. So I'll just go back and frog this and start again. No, I don't care. It's okay. The only thing I've really watched over the last week was Needles at the Ready, which I love.
I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah, I like watching the boys, and they make me laugh. They're pretty funny. And I bought only one book. Magazine. I haven't bought any yarn this week, which is good because I don't need any yarn. And I got, I've been waiting for this for months, like nagging my poor news agency guy.
Oh, fun.
So I finally got the Noro magazine. Here it's
Japanese.
Yeah, speaking of the Japanese, I've got the Noro magazine, which was $22.99 Australian. And it says here $9.99 US. Bummer. So $10.99 Canadian. But yeah, so I bought this one, and I just like looking at the yarns. But I've still got some old garden sock. Is it called? Yeah.
Oh, silk garden sock. Yeah.
Silk garden sock. Yeah, I've still got a few balls of that. I'd bought packets, so I'd bought not a couple of skeins or balls. I bought actually packets when I bought it back in the day. So yeah, I like looking at it, but I have not bought any of the newer yarns that they've brought out, modern yarns.
No, me neither.
I'm a bit bummed that this magazine actually has a couple of old patterns in it. So they turn around and revise by, I guess, filling the magazine by adding some old patterns from old magazines, like a look back, which is really annoying. So I'm looking through it thinking, hang on, I've seen that pattern before in another, and that one. So there's 3 patterns in here that they actually published previously in other magazines that I've bought. So that's kind of frustrating. But
Yeah.
anyway, I guess if you're picking one up for the first time, it's nice to have a look at some different designs. Yeah, so I like this, and I've always picked them up and collected them. And it inspires me because look, their yarn's got everything in it: silk, cotton, alpaca, merino. They buy a merino from Australia too, which is nice.
Hay,
And
straw. Yeah.
you get all the vegetation. I don't know how it passes quarantine to get here because you're pulling apart vegetation that's otherwise normally banned from the country.
Okay.
But I always have been a fan of Noro yarns,
I like
and
Noro.
yeah, I just think any of their designs, of course, you can adapt to any yarn. You can substitute it to any yarn you like, even cotton. You know, they're just very clever man, and it's a shame he passed away, but I believe his son is carrying on the legacy now, one of his sons or his only son. I'm not sure about his personal history, but I do like the yarn after you pull. I mean, sometimes it just looks scratchy and awful, but after you knit it up and you've got the muted colours and all the different fibres in it, the blends of fibres, they're really very pretty and nice to wear, nice and soft after they're washed.
I
So
did
that's all.
I did a Lady Eleanor in Silk Garden Light.
Oh, yeah.
And Devin keeps asking for stories, and I kind of have a story about that. I wanted to knit the Lady Eleanor. This is back in 2005. This is a long time. But I'm like, I'm not going to spend $100 on yarn for a shawl. I know what
Yeah.
I'll do. I'll spin yarn for it. First thing I had to do was buy a spinning wheel. So that was $585. So,
Yeah.
and then I had
man.
to buy fiber to spin. So that was another however much, you know.
Wow.
And then I ended up buying the Noro anyway. So I have a shawl that's probably $800 worth of everything.
Wow.
And it's very, very big, very heavy, and very hot.
Oh, okay.
But it's beautiful. It's entrelac, however you pronounce it.
Yeah,
How do you pronounce it? Entrelac. How do you pronounce it?
I don't know. Different every time I say it.
How do you pronounce? I don't know.
Entrelac. I don't know.
Tell me this. If you have one monastery, how do you pronounce multiple of that? How do you say more than one monastery?
Like monasteries?
Monastery?
Do you? Do you, Therese, say monasteries?
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay, because I was drifting off into my coma last night, having nightmares because the podcast I was listening to, What's on Your Needles, Neil James, was saying monasteries. And I'm walking through the moors and we're talking about the monasteries. And I thought, am I wrong all this time? Is it not a monastery, therefore it would be monasteries? No, monasteries. And I've never heard it said that way before. And I thought perhaps it's just a cultural thing. Perhaps it's just me and my limited education at private school. Thank you very much. Monastery. Okay, just a comment. Neil will let me know if I've got it wrong. But he also says some funny things, doesn't he, Anne?
Yes.
He does.
Yes, he
Amy
does.
Commonwealth people. Like, I don't know what these words are.
Intarsia.
Monastery. Either way, I thought. Yeah, monastery.
It's singular and plural. So if we're talking about more than one monastery. Well, I'm interested to see what the resident POM says, who says Intarsia. Intarsia. How does he say it, Anne? You can mimic Neil James. How does he say
I'm not good at British accents. I have no idea.
Tabitha might.
Yeah, he draws it out. Intarsia.
Intarsia.
He's like a Harry Potter professor.
Anyway, I fell asleep with all the footage of the drone. I fell asleep. And I was laughing because could you imagine having to go and set up a drone and a camera stand and film yourself walking along and then run back and stop it and then do all the editing when you get back home? So I'm
Yeah,
watching
Crosby says two
Dan
monasteries.
Jones walking all by himself. I'm watching Dan Jones and he's standing upright and walking very uncomfortably, not very naturally at all. And I'm thinking, how many hours of footage has he got of himself walking along the moors, and then the drone footage above, and then some random footage of somebody else gets thrown in there? Oh, gee, I laughed. And then I fell asleep laughing. I did not finish it. I tried 10 times
I
to
hadn't
watch
watched
that
Bakery
podcast.
Bears for a while, but the last I did watch was one of those monastery tour things. And it was just beautiful.
Oh,
According to the
Coggy's
dictionary,
here.
according to
Look, guys,
Britannica,
Coggy's here too.
monastery,
She's just moved,
but
and she's got time to sit down and watch us or listen to us.
okay, evidently the Brit plural is monastery. The
Monastery?
We say it monastery. The Brits say it monastery.
Okay.
Monastery.
So it's a
one of those
It's
weird
an
words.
Official
Language thing.
Britism.
It's like
Yeah.
aluminum and aluminium, you know.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I would
Nico
like to hear
Lave.
how Neil pronounces it.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
Oh,
You know,
goodness.
sure he'll say something about it on his podcast or in chat.
I'd like to know. I'm curious because it just like grinded my gears while I was trying to go to sleep. I was gritting my teeth and I was just like, what the hell? Why is it monasteries? It just sounds so weird to me, so foreign to me, if that's a thing anymore. I was uncomfortable with listening. My ears were uncomfortable listening to the.
Oh, Joe, don't leave.
Oh, no. Everybody left my screen then, so it was probably me. I can't count. Can I count to 60, do you think? Shush while I count. Shush.
29, 8, 15.
Bingo.
100 bottles of beer on the wall. 100 bottles of beer.
Oh boy.
Oh, God. Start again. Shit. Gosh. Can I not count to 60? This is the dementia test of all time, counting stitches.
Oh, I
Bloody
know.
no.
That's from my family. It's like when I'm counting stitches and they start talking, so I start counting louder.
Count louder.
Like-
Yep.
12, 14, 16, 18. And yeah, what do you count in? I count in twos, always and forever.
5s.
2s or 5s.
Oh.
Yeah, depends.
But then I count louder, and if it doesn't listen, then I'm like, I'm counting. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I should have listened the first time.
Sorry. I'm like, 372. Shut up. I'm not listening to you. 373. Go away. Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. And it doesn't matter if you put stitch markers in every 50 stitches. You're still counting again and again and again, going back to that last stitch marker. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Monasteries.
I used to be good and would put stitch markers in if I was casting on a lot. Now I'm just like, whatever. It's just,
Yeah. I used to be good, but now I'm just wing it.
Used to be good. Now I'm lazy.
So I did
Oh my
learn that new
goodness,
cast
what-
on for this, that double twisted cast on. And I kind of like it. It's really stretchy. It'd be good for like top of a sock on the, if you're doing top down.
Oh, okay.
What are you doubling though? I don't get that.
You're not doubling anything. Just
Double
twisted.
twist.
Okay. So basically, you hold it in your right hand, and then you loop the yarn. All right, like this.
Yep. Yep.
And then you would
That's
take,
like a
and then you
German.
take your needle underneath here, go over the top, and bring it up. And then you let go, and it's twisted. Wait,
Oh.
hold on. All right, got to do this. It's hard to do on something I'm already using. I don't have another needle. Oh wait, yes I do.
Sure you do. 50 other needles in the room next to it. I don't have another needle.
Okay. All right, so you hold it your yarn like that.
Yeah.
You go under the side, over the top, down through, and then you let go.
Oh, okay.
And then you do it again. You have to, the thing is, you have to reset your yarn after every one.
Oh, that's a pain.
Yeah,
It'll
it's a little,
untie your yarn.
it's slow, but you just keep resetting your yarn. You do it again. You go under, over, and through, and then you let go, and then you just keep repeating. The only thing is you have to reset your hands after every one. But it's very stretchy. I learned it. It was in the Ranunculus for the larger neckline, and then I watched videos because I had never heard of that one before.
It's amazing how many videos she has for that pattern.
I didn't actually watch any of her videos. When I just went on YouTube and put Ranunculus cast on, someone else came up, the one who'd done it
Yeah, a lot
analog
of people
before.
have. Yeah.
So it'll be good when Ethan does one. I want to see what he says about it too, Joe, now that you've mentioned it.
I know.
Because he's very much into more fitted garment.
Mm-hmm.
He has some beautiful work.
He does.
He
His color work
does.
is,
His stuff is amazing.
maybe he would want to join us and knit sometime. He might enjoy our crazy.
Oh my
we are
gosh,
crazy.
he and I would just bitch about design, how bad it is. Seriously,
So
I
funny.
think he's just as fussy as I am.
It's funny.
So hopefully David's coming home this week.
Gotta check on that dog. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm hoping so, but not too soon. Like, I want him home, but I don't want him home before.
You want him to go home when he's ready.
Not too soon.
Dates for the Catherine's wedding.
Because she
Huggy,
loves
there
him.
are no dates.
Oh,
There are no dates. You cast on when you want. You cast off when you want. There's no deadlines. There's no rules. There's nothing. We're
Just post pictures and hashtag Midnight Podcast.
Yep.
That's
It's just
Joe.
we're just doing it, and said anybody else wants to do it, that's fine too. Somebody said, "Oh, is there going to be prizes?" I'm like, if there's prizes, there has to be rules, and I don't like rules.
I mean, we may do an actual cow with prizes at some point,
Sure.
but we're not to that point yet. And we've all kind of got stuff going on right now. So
Oh, what do you got going on, Liz?
life, children in college, family.
And Liz,
Wow,
are you
life's a
working on your
breeze.
sweater right now, or are you working on something else? Are you working
No,
on
I'm working on my ranunculus.
Okay.
And yarn dyed by you and Di, our lovely friend Liz.
Oh, that's so pretty.
It's no longer dyeing yarn, sadly.
We gotta make that not be a thing.
I know. If you're listening, Liz, dye us some yarn.
Yeah, Liz, dye up yarn now.
Okay.
Forget about them sick people. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, too many things.
Plus, it's hard to actually believe what the yardage is on that. Because for the size 1, what does it say? Like 500 and some yards or 600 yards? Like, how am I going to make a sweater with 600 yards? But
that's
people
the
do.
magic.
Thousands of people have done it.
Yeah, we were
That's
talking in
the
chat the
magic.
other day. Somebody was questioning it. Like, yeah, the small size for long sleeve is 569 yards for
Right.
size 1.
How do you make a sweater with 500 and some yards?
I don't know.
That's what we're going to learn.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
Once we knit it. This one's in
I'm gonna
DK.
find
I think
out
the next one
why.
will be sport or baby fingering.
What did I do with my one I did before? Where's my prototype? I don't know what it. Where is it? I don't know. Because that
So,
part,
Annie,
Get the first row done.
did you get a
I
lot of
could-
videos of people frogging?
I got a couple. And a
Were any
couple
of
just photos.
Were any of them really dramatic?
Oh,
Nobody
God I
cussed me
didn't do
out,
it.
which I think everyone on this panel and Tara threatens to do if they lost.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
well, Amy and Tara both said if they lost, they would do something very dramatic for you.
I know.
But no.
I was waiting for Amy's theatrical performance of the century.
you talk about 500
Though she did
yards.
have a nice video about her
And it a
success.
bit
So.
longer for the yeah.
Joe,
That's unbelievable to me. 500 yards
Wow.
for a sweater. And I make mine longer because I don't do cropped anymore. I'm not 17.
I didn't do crop when I
500
was
yards
17.
on the
That wasn't in
sides.
style.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. So Coggy knit a bit. I'm going to knit mine a bit longer too.
Oh, I'm in light right now, sure.
500 yards. That just doesn't compute in my
I
head
know, it's
for a
crazy.
jumper.
Crazy.
It doesn't. It's less than 500 meters. I can't envisage it. I just don't see it.
Where is it?
But I'm going to try it.
I don't know where it is.
It would be accomplishment for me at this rate to get past the first round or second round. Hang on, round 2. Good. I think I've got the right number of stitches. Maybe I should treat this like Stephen West. And, a few extra.
Just add a stitch. Take a stitch out. No worries.
Throw
There's a
in
new
some
fall
mohair.
coming out tomorrow.
There's what?
Oh. Another one?
One of
Another
his
pattern?
modular shawls. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you can't
Oh,
look. You
I
can't
get
be
those.
distracted.
I get those, but I haven't knit any of them yet. But I will
No.
someday. Someday.
That first one, I want to do what one of the test knitters did, where they remember it's staggered blocks, and I want to do the one where they're lined up. And I want
Otherwise,
to just copy and do the ones in that the colors she did because they are amazing.
I was thinking that too because they really are. I did look at all the pictures, not all because there's 19,000 pictures of Ranunculus, but just to see what kind of colors of yarn people used. If you have to use something with less of a pattern or color, and you can do it in pretty much anything.
Anything.
So
Anything. People have done it in acrylic. People have done it in lace. People have done it in bulky. People have done it. It's
Joe's doing
Okay.
chunky.
Finally cooking with gas here. I'm finally onto the third little row. Now I'll be flying through.
I'm excited to see how Joe's colors work out.
mm-hmm.
I forgot. I got so excited about casting on. I forgot about my coffee.
Oh no.
My iced coffee. No, it's good. For breakfast this morning, I'm having coffee and then another coffee, and then I should be all normal and human.
No sugar.
Oh, yeah, it has sugar. Don't you worry. It has sugar.
Because
No, you're
usually
not
you're
having
eating ring dings
candy.
and ding dongs and all the other healthy stuff.
I've decided I don't like ding dongs. I'd rather eat a Twinkie than a ding dong, and I don't know if that's okay or not, but I don't care.
Everyone's
Seriously.
entitled to their own choice.
Very
Everyone's-
important.
Everyone's entitled to their own choice in hostess snack case.
That's right.
I got some really fun toys in my Kinder Surprises this week. I actually got a kangaroo and a koala.
Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool. And I may or may not have bought some more Kinder Surprises just for the little toy.
Well,
I've
I
got a
got the one.
flamingo. I'm just collecting the animals at this stage. Don't worry about the chocolate that goes with it.
You're not collecting that.
He'll have a
No.
whole Australian zoo by the end of it.
Yeah, it's really good. I've got turtles and all sorts of animals I've been collecting. In fact, I don't think it's too far away. Where's my little packet?
Amy Mrs. Ding Dong.
I've got my snacks. Don't you worry. You know I like my snacks. I've got a packet of Smarties for breakfast.
There's the sugar.
I've got, here, I've got a little plastic bag. I've got a baggie of all my little toys that I've been collecting Kinder Surprise.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, if I have doubles, I sort of swap them with Mills, but here's my koala.
Oh,
Aw.
So he's Cutie Pie, hanging in a tree. Koala bear and Mills. I got too many chameleons, so I swapped with Mills. She gave me one of her flamingos. I'm very happy with
my
that.
favorite.
Very cute. I love the colours. And then yesterday I got all excited, except I couldn't put it together. Jack had to put it together for me because, you know, kids. There you go, little kangaroo.
Does he look
So,
like
yeah.
the one that was hopping down the road while you were driving the other day when you called me?
No, there's no big balls at the back. This is a female. Good golly. I tried to ring Therese, right? I'm just on the car phone ringing Therese, and I'm looking and pressing the numbers, and right in front of me, this big kangaroo. Oh, gosh, he was a whopper. And I knew it was a he because he was right in front of me. He was like 5 foot in front of me. So I had to keep slowing down, and I don't mind when they're right in front of me because he's just hopping along doing his, you know, warm up for the Olympics. And then he goes sideways, and I don't like it when they're at the side of me because they can pivot and come back into the car or into the road in front of you. So he sort of went off to the side, and we were having a little race, like a drag car, you know, drag car racing in the streets. So we're having a little race, and I'm watching him going, come on, come on. Oh, yeah, and I'm trying to ring Therese, and I forgot that I had Therese on the phone, and she's like, hello, Tomorrowland. And I'm like, Therese, this bloody kangaroo won't get off the road.
I think our drag races are very different.
Oh, you know what my driveway's like? I got to go around a paddock. So there were some kangaroos hiding in amongst some logs. I mean, they're so good at camouflaging themselves. But last night, just on dark, and I'm driving around our big driveway around the paddock, and all of a sudden, out of these logs bound these two kangaroos. So they were keeping warm and hiding in amongst, keeping out of the wind, in amongst fallen tree trunks. They just jump out, and we've got deer again. Do you remember a couple of years ago we had deer?
I
Down the
remember
road.
you showed it.
Yeah, we had some deer down the road. Now we've got a whole, I'm guessing they're called a herd. I'm not sure. I'm not in with Santa and what he calls his mob. Boomers. They're boomers, aren't they? Yeah, big deer, like big dark deer. So the other night there was a very dark black coated deer just trotting across the road, taking its time, no fear. And then I saw the photos of the property owner where there's a whole mob of them sat on their land. And that's where that last one, obviously I got up to the last one, about 10 or 15 of them all together running around the bush. They've escaped from a deer farm, obviously, and they're doing very well, and they're really big. I thought it was a horse at first. It was so huge and black. And then when I got closer, I realised it was a deer. Deer crossing.
Never seen a black one.
Yeah, they're dark. Well, yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because I know we had a deer farm many years ago in the general area, but now they're just running around, this whole herd. There's some, not even fawn, they're more like tan instead of a fawny colour, and there's some really dark ones. The property owner took photos and put them on the old fake book, so the girls showed me, because I'm not on fake book.
Very here.
Okay,
We
well,
had
I think I've started. There you go. I'm joined up together and I'm off. So I hope somebody else is cast on today so they can join me and we can knit along over the next little while.
Oh, I forgot to ask Joe. Are you doing any sort of, are you just doing blocks of different colors? Are you going to do like a little slip stitch, maybe like where your colors join or fade or anything?
Well, thank you, Anne. No, thank you for that question. No, I'm not doing
Okay.
anything fancy. I'm not doing anything fancy at all. I'm just going to pull the next skein out when I finish this one. So might be a bit of a hippie chick feral look with different colours, but I think it's going to be okay.
Joe,
Feral.
hippie
Are you going to
chick
try to match
has
the
full.
sleeves or just kind of go for it?
I'm not even going to match the sleeves. No, I'm just going to go for it with an original piece.
Joe's going to start the hippie chick feral trend, and it'll go
Feral.
worldwide.
Let's all be feral. Yeah.
But this is hippie chick feral chic. It's a
Chic.
new look.
Funny
That's what they do
story.
in Tomorrowland. It's a trend.
Yeah, we just don't stress. We just go with the flow.
Joe, are
Huggy's
you going to
casting on now, Joe.
Who is?
Huggy's
Huggy's
Huggy.
casting on right now.
Go Cogs. Okay, Coggy. I don't know how you have time, but you know what? Because Coggy's just moved. She's just been traipsing across the countryside with, oh, here comes a magpie to attack me. Just kidding. I'm in the car.
Hey.
They do in the summertime. No, Cogs, sorry, sidetrack. Cogs has been travelling and moving house, and now she's got boxes to unpack. So she's going to join us. Awesome. Coggy, our hashtag is hashtag Knit Night Podcast. Can you please take a photo and show me what are you knitting with? I'd love to see what yarn, because I know Coggy's got a very huge stash and lots of hand spun. She's a spinner as well, and she's got tons of stash. So I would be curious, are you doing a double stranded with the lightweight yarn, or are you going to do a chunky like me? I'm curious to see what she comes up with.
Hey,
And
Joe,
Coggy, do you have any modifications that you can advise, or that you've done and that have worked well for you? Let me
Joe
know.
Bob. Are you joining Ethan's knit along of the Ranunculus? Because if you are, then you definitely have to post pictures of hippie chick feral.
Oh.
Feral. Yeah.
I think he would love to see that.
Oh no, I wasn't planning on. I don't know what the details are. I just know that they're doing numerous knit-alongs, so they're always good for you if you want to go and find something, to inspire you. If you need your knitting mojo back, or a design suggestion. How do I show you a photo?
On Instagram.
I'm using bamboo. Yeah. Oh, bamboo. Wow, that'll have some drape.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just take a photo and do hashtag Knit Night Podcast, and I can have a look. I put our logo on there. It's a clean page. There's no other photos. And I put our logo on there so you know you're on the right page. And then I can look back through and see what everyone else is doing. That would be great. So if you pop that on your Insta, and then I can have a look, please.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, Therese,
Awesome.
What's that?
in other words, we'll have to post pictures.
Yes.
So,
Well, as soon as I
Yeah,
get
so
mine
no,
sorted. Yeah.
I'm not sure of the details. I don't think Ethan, I do listen to him. I don't think he really gave me any details. Just that one is starting in a week or so.
okay.
That's kind of crazy that that pattern's 5 years old and everybody's now all of a sudden doing knit-alongs for it. It's like, what's
Well,
next? Clapper tee?
Changing the lace. Yeah, well, because I haven't knit this yet, I'm not sure how that lace yoke looks. I'm going to have to wait until I finish mine to see how I would do it for the second or third one. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I like some of the little pull-through stitches, you know, those little fake pull-through stitches, not to give anything away for the paid pattern, but yeah, I agree. I agree with that. That'll be interesting to see what she does.
I may change up one of them, not this one, but the next one. I don't know. So I've never let knitting the same thing twice, so depends on what it
Yeah.
looks like.
I wonder how it would look just plain. You know how some people do the love note without any lace pattern?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if
true.
you just sort of did the increases and not the lace, how it would look on the yoke. I'm not sure because I've never made one. So until I sort of fuddle and muddle my way through and make my own mistakes or not, I really don't know what this thing looks like. You can look at photos, but to see it in person is a different thing altogether.
Well, also you want to see what it looks like on you to see if you want to make adjustments when you do the next one too. You know, you might want
Yeah.
to change, make it looser or tighter or something like that too.
Yeah, the size thing. That's the only thing that worries me is how much positive ease should I go and that's the balance, isn't it? To have something loose and a little bit airy to being a tent that looks ridiculous, that's the tough thing. And then how your yarn handle's being washed and how it may, I mean, if it was acrylic, it wouldn't change. But some yarns really change after they've been worn and softened up. So could be nice for a couple of months and then go to the charity bin next year. I don't know.
I think it'll be okay because Wendy said that she did it. Remember, she did it, and her first one she didn't like because it had too much ease. So then she did it the same way we're going to do it.
Yeah. Coggy's done it plain too. Thanks, Cog. Coggy, I want to have a look because I really, really don't know what this looks like. I've never seen one. Like people go to Rhinebeck and all the fibre festivals out in the wild and see it out there. I have never seen anybody wear one here. I really haven't. So I'd like to see how it looks. Definitely. And I'm about to find out because I just have to knit it myself and work it out myself.
Well, the good thing is it's not a lot of yarn, so it's a fairly quick knit. So, you know, you can always, pulling back is not such a big deal if you have to.
Oh, I think it would be if you were doing double strand with mohair. That's
well,
painful.
yeah, if you were, yeah, but I meant you're not though. You're doing chunky. So.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just doing the softest alpaca ever. It's really super soft. So it's going to be good. How much more time have we got for the summer of murder? When does your summer? When does that officially?
End of August, I think.
Calvin says, "Hi, Ann."
Hi, Calvin.
Look at Ann. There's Ann.
Hi. He's like not looking.
Calvin, come on, Calvin. Be nice.
Be a good boy.
Be a good boy.
I'd laugh if he bit you on the nose live on air. That would be hilarious.
You would laugh.
You would laugh.
Okay. Yeah, that's
would.
yeah.
No,
I think it would be hilarious.
That would be interesting because the language that Therese uses we would have to beep out. Calvin bit her on the nose.
Yeah, this would be a not safe for work.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
He's missed you. You've been too busy on the freeways and at the hospital. Yep. He's missed you this last few days.
Morgan's here.
Morgan.
Oh, hi, Morgan.
Hi.
Hey, Morgan.
Hi,
How's it
Morgan.
going? Hi.
Did you cast on?
I did. I'm just into a little bit into the short rows. Not very far.
Oh, that's pretty.
Kind of hard to see with my lighting, but
that works.
Yeah,
pretty.
Yeah.
I did the wider neckline, and I'm using worsted weight for mine on what size needles? US 10s or 5 millimeters.
Yeah, 5.
And it's not very wide. Like I thought it was gonna be like, because there was one picture I think someone had made like the size 6, and just the neckline came to like the
Yeah, it's like a
shoulders. So I don't know
boat
why
neck.
I was. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's right.
Did
this
you
ain't.
swatch?
Short neck to me.
Yeah, it looks like I did like the 30 stitch one, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's 60 stitches.
On 5
So
millimeters.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
You
Are
don't
you a
knit
tight
as
knitter,
tight as Neil,
Ollie?
are you?
Well, our gauges are somewhat similar. I think I maybe just like a hair looser, but not by much, because I typically get the same type of gauge that he does mostly.
Because I think he's using a
So,
7
oh, he's
millimeter.
going at a 7.
I think that's what he said.
Oh, well, I did get gauge because I did a gauge swatch, and I did get gauge with the 5 millimeters. So I don't know. Who
Well,
knows?
you can
But
put it
I'm
on
just gonna
scrap
do it.
yarn and stretch it over your head and see how it looks.
I mean,
See if it stretches, you know.
ooh, actually, even just trying to do that, I'm almost wondering if that's gonna work. Ooh.
Shocked because I thought all of those larger neck sizes were like a boat neck. I never saw anything like that. I'm
Yeah, that's
shocked.
what I thought.
That looks
I
like the
don't
neck I
know.
just did on
Yeah,
Charlie's
that's
jumper.
that.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
I did the wider neck too. Mine's on 6 millimeter,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's super stretchy though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
So
Yours isn't as
we'll
wide as
see.
I
Good,
thought
though.
it would be.
If this one
Okay.
doesn't work, it goes to my daughter. And then I'll just knit this one first size 1 and it'll fit her. So
Yeah.
Is Anne doing the ranunculus too, Anne?
I'm not.
Anne's
You're
in
not?
Opal soft
Oh,
help.
okay. I
I'm
see.
doing. I said that I'd knit all these Van Gogh socks in the summer, and
That's
then I
right.
got busy.
Oh, thank you, Elle. I appreciate it. I know I was really, really late on my last one because I looked at the what do I call it, the YouTube Studio app, and I saw the analytics, and I saw that it had been like 3 weeks since the last one. I'm like, ooh, I should probably get on that. But you know, life and all that good stuff has been happening, so
Oh,
I was
sure.
like, oh, you know,
Life.
I'll hurry
Yeah.
up and record something.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'll
Can,
get more consistent.
You could always recast it on with a larger needle if you're worried about the neckline and then go back down to the smaller needle if you want.
oh, I wouldn't be worried about that neckline. That looks nice and cozy.
Yeah, it's
But
nice.
is it going to stretch out enough? I mean, even the small neckline
well,
seems wider in the pictures. I don't know. I'm
I
winging it with
might.
gauge too, so
Well, I
What
might
kind of
get
yarn
through.
is it, Morgan?
This is Lion Brand Touch of Alpaca. It's deep
Okay.
stash.
is it
Yeah.
is it mostly acrylic?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a label nearby. Otherwise,
I bet you that's why it's not as stretchy.
It's
Let me
mostly
see.
acrylic with a little bit of alpaca. Yeah.
Which that's why it's not so stretchy.
That's probably why.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Joe Bob,
Yes.
Coggy
I
says she
know.
put. Oh,
I know. I just saw. Thank you, Coggy. I'm really curious to go and have a look. Unfortunately, I can't look now because I'm on my one and only device, which is my phone. But as soon as we're finished, I am going to go and have a look. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I just can't believe it's taken me 5 years to sit down and get cracking on one of these. I'm going to be the last person in the world to knit one, I think.
Oh
no, we're all knitting them too, so.
Yeah,
We're
90%
going to be the last ones
acrylic,
too.
90% acrylic, and 10% alpaca. So yeah,
That's why. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not going to stretch like a wool or an alpaca wool.
Well, I'll go through a short rows and then put it on some waste yarn and just see how I feel about it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's a quick knit, so because you mean.
Yeah.
Can I?
But
You're right, Liz. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, because you can always, if you're not happy, you can always pull it back and do it with bigger needles.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So can I ask each of you the same question, if you don't mind? Have a think.
Sure.
I know we've all got our yarn collections and pattern collections and all the crafty stuff. Is there anything that you collect that's non-crafty? Do you have a collection or an obsession that is not part of our crafting life that I need to know about?
Well, you don't need to know nothing, Joe. I'm just saying.
Oh, I need to know. No, I need to know. Morgan, what do you collect?
So I collect a bunch of language learning books, basically, because I've always loved learning different languages, and so I have about, I think, 2 to 3 bins worth of different books for all of the languages that I've tried to learn, like in the past. So I have a bunch of like Spanish language learning books, a bunch of French ones for Italian, Chinese, Korean, Arabic.
Really?
Yeah.
Arabic?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you were to go, you're the person I need to travel the world with then. So if we were to go to Italy together,
Mm-hmm.
do you think you could ask for a cup of coffee for me and prego and all that? Can you do all of that for me?
Yeah, I'm sure I could work that out.
You're
Yeah.
fluent enough in your Italian?
Well, not that much. Because with like the Spanish, like learning Spanish and French, like I can understand a lot of Italian, but
Yeah.
just learning the verbs and stuff
You know
like
enough
that. I'm sure.
Italian to know if they're bad talking you on the table over.
Mostly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what about German? Do you know any German?
Like very, very little. I could probably order a coffee, but that's pretty much as far as that'll go.
Oh. And so have you ever heard of a language called Talkpissen? Talkpissen?
No.
I'm going to find you a book. Okay, I'm going to find you a book.
All right.
And then we can chat.
Yes,
my
I would love that.
I would love that. That's amazing. So you love languages and you've got a good ear to pick up other languages.
I'd say so. I've always loved, because I first started learning Spanish in like grade school, and I just loved it. I don't know why. I don't know what was, but I loved learning languages. And then by the time I got into, going to high school, I had I kind of like really, really begged to take both Spanish and French at the same time. And they let me. And so I was doing that. And then, I at one point started learning Portuguese. And so I joined like an online Facebook group, and I met somebody on there, and we've been friends ever since. And so we just text each other every day. We'll go back and forth because he also practices his English. So we'll spend some time texting in English, and then other times we'll text in Portuguese. And so we just
Portuguese.
Oh, really?
She did her mission in Brazil.
Oh,
and so she had to learn Portuguese.
Oh, that's cool.
She still speaks a good amount of it. Like she remembers a good amount of it.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
And so, Morgan, do you itch to travel internationally, or have you traveled internationally, overseas?
I have once. My junior year of high school, I went on a class trip to France and Spain. It was a 10-day trip. So we spent part of the time in Spain and part of the time in France. And it was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
My class trips were to Washington, D.C. You go to Europe.
We went on a band trip to Montreal where we practiced our fairly basic French.
Oh, my goodness.
Where the
Morgan,
nice
you and I are going to travel.
That sounds good to me.
I love airports. I love just getting my suitcase and going,
It's so much fun.
that's
It's so exciting.
amazing. It is exciting, and it is so much fun to meet people from other cultures and the food. I'm a foodie. You can tell if you look
Me
at my
too.
stomach. And anybody
too.
else's culture, I'm into it. Unless it's green string beans, I'm eating it. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad I asked you. That's something I never knew, that you were so interested in other languages and other cultures.
I actually just started teaching myself Chinese because my boss is originally from China, and so
Yeah.
she was so happy when I told her. I'm like, I'm learning Chinese, and she's like, "You are." So I've been like practicing like just words that words that I've learned, and then trying to like say various sentences and
Let's
stuff
go
like
there.
that. So
Yeah, my daughter learned her elementary school. They taught everyone a year of Chinese.
oh,
Yeah.
that's
It was
so
very cool. And
cool.
then in high school,
Yeah.
she majored in Japanese because she
Oh,
went to a
that's really
magnet school.
cool.
So,
In 2015, I went to China for one day on my way
Oh,
back
did
from
you?
Italy. And I had a beautiful tour guide. I had a young man whose wife owned a tea shop, and he was my tour guide, which I hooked up with him online before I got there. And I
Yeah.
had something like 14 ridiculous hours or something stupid, 12 to 14 hours. And he was amazing. The best fish I have ever eaten in an authentic Chinese little cafe that he took me to.
That sounds so good.
Unfortunately, it was raining all day, but it was the
Oh,
best time ever.
that's
We
really
got to
cool,
go.
though.
Let's go to
Yes, we
China,
do.
Morgan. I'll come with. I'm just inviting myself. I'm coming
I
with
want
you
to
to
come.
China, Morgan.
I want to
Let's
come.
do it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's
I've got to renew
travel.
my passport, though.
I do
So
too.
Me too.
that was the
Me
first time
too.
I'd gotten my passport, and so I haven't renewed it since. And so I'm just like, I should
Okay,
probably do that. But
Probably.
yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
let's do that. That'll be amazing. Oh, you would be the best travel companion with all your little snippets of languages. I mean, you could speak to other tourists from other countries as well.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, I just like always loved like the idea of because when we were in Spain, Spain especially, because my Spanish is a bit better than my French, but when we were in Spain, like a lot more people were willing to sort of like kind of like go along with the fact that I wanted to speak in Spanish, even though they could tell that we were American. But
English.
it was just like so fun, like talking to all like the different small like shop owners and and stuff like that, and it was just and then like other people weren't really into the whole just using Spanish or just speaking in French, but that's all I
Oh,
wanted to do, because I'm like, back at
yeah.
home it's not like I really, well, I should say back at home, like I can go use my Spanish still like quite a bit, just because I live in an area that's heavily Hispanic, so it's
Good.
there's a couple places that I can go to where if I really wanted to speak in Spanish, I could.
Yeah.
French not as much, but that's what the
Go to
Facebook groups are for, though.
Go
Would
to
you
any
have
racetrack
go
in
and
the
visit
country and you
Amy?
can speak Spanish.
Yeah, but would you have to go and visit Amy and do the Creole? Does she
Creole.
have French? Is it Creole French sort of, or would Canada be a better
Mm.
option?
Montreal.
Probably,
Quebec.
yeah, probably Canada would be, just because I can understand a little bit of like the Creole French, but it's very hard for me to understand, just because
Different. Yeah.
it's and
It's
even in like
unique.
Canada, I think maybe I'd have a slightly hard time just because I always learned Parisian French,
It's
but
different. It's a bit different. Canadian
yeah,
French is.
could probably
Okay.
get by, but
You could get by,
yeah.
and you'll be able to read all the signs because all the signs are in both Canadian or in French and
Yeah.
English.
Oh, that was the other thing too. So when we were in Spain, in the Barcelona area, they
Yeah.
also speak Catalan, there too. So there were like signs in Spanish and in Catalan, and it was funny. Like Catalan is kind of like a mix of Spanish, French, and Italian, and I didn't really like know like any of it, but I could read the sign that we were like looking at when we were getting onto the bus. There was this big sign, and I forget like what it was about, but I think something about like clean water, or or something like that. And it was like this advertisement, and I'm like, oh, that's not in Spanish. And then later come to find out it was in Catalan, and I was like, oh, because in the north they have their own, they have different
dialects.
Yeah, different dialects and different languages, like all together even, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I guess it would be like traveling through Europe and knowing German, but also being able to pick up bits of Austrian and with some similarities and some origins the same.
Yeah,
wow.
Definitely.
That's amazing. And what about you, Liz? Do you have a collection of anything I need to know about?
Anything you need to know about? We have firearms.
Oh, yeah.
And Lord of the Rings stuff. I collect things that are Lord of the Rings, like the books, and I have playing cards, and I have other Lord of the Rings memorabilia.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Anne and I will forgive you that. Right, Anne?
We will not tell the fellowship.
That's right.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, any of that Hobbit shit, or Star Wars.
You've never seen Star Wars?
I've never seen.
It's like
any
you're not an American.
Right?
Funny that. And so your collection of Lord of the Rings, I think I once saw you with a saber. Is that from Lord of the Rings? Or is that another show? Lightsabers, sorry.
That's Star Wars. Yeah, that's Star Wars. I do have a lightsaber. It's not currently here because my friends, my son's friends are making a fan film, a Star Wars fan movie, so they're using.
You need to watch Friday Night Tights, my friend. You need to be educated.
Joe does.
I'm talking
that's
about
right. I know.
She's looking at me. Hey, listen, I watched Shad M. Brooks, and I even went to watch his podcast last night, his latest episode with Nathan. Now, I don't know who Nathan is, but I just went, Night Watch. I know that bloke. He's on Friday Night Tights. It just appeared up in my YouTube recommendations. So, hi, Shad. Sorry about your internet issues. I understand completely. And why are you wearing those funny medieval clothes? He's wearing all this medieval clothing. Wackadoodle. No. So I did watch that last night. He just had a short podcast, and I thought, who is this Shad bloke? What's he all about? He's in Victoria, so he's not in my state. He's not up with me. Therese, what do you collect? What do you have a collection?
What's that, Ann?
You could probably travel to see his castle if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Adventures of Joe Bob sneaking around trying to find the castle.
You know what?
I would pay to watch that.
If I can find Therese's husband,
you could get a drone and film it.
Oh,
yeah, I would watch that in a heartbeat. Joe and Morgan take Europe.
Yes.
Actually, Shad, if you're ever watching, don't be surprised if I give you a phone. He might be. Shad, are you watching? Anyone know Shad? Just give him a call. Tell him the knitters are on. I could find out your phone number probably, Shad, because I found out David's phone number in a Catholic hospital in the middle of Michigan. So,
Don't worry, Joe works on the side of good.
Not evil. Therese, what do you collect?
What do I collect? I used to collect cookbooks. But then I moved too much, and it's hard to move books. So I
collect fabric.
But I collect, but she's talking about non-craft.
Non-crafting.
Fabric. I'm looking at the fabric right now. I don't want to look at it. I collect recipes.
Insulation against the cold.
So instead of cookbooks, I just collect recipes.
I do that too.
Copy me that and all those.
Yeah.
What else do I collect?
Yeah, what do you if you have more than 3, apparently, allegedly here in Australia, if you have more than 3 of something, it's a collection. So what do you have that you like? You know,
What
something that
isn't a
you've been
collection
walking
at that
around the
point?
store and you think, oh, that has to come home with me. Don't mind that I've already got 2 or 3 others at home. What do you collect? Like Tupperware, you know?
Kitchen gadgets.
Oh, I knew that. You're such a baker, a chef, a cooker. Yeah.
If it chops,
No, nobody calls their Tupperware a collection.
or if it's a Instant Pot or an air fryer or a combo of those 2 things, or kitchen gadgets.
Kitchen gadgets. You like kitchen gadgets?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a
Wow.
few of those too, come to think of it.
Yep, same here.
Do you have an old-fashioned egg timer in your kitchen?
I do not.
I don't.
I don't think
I
I
have
do.
Alexa.
Right. I have my watch, my phone. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Alexa.
Or your microphone. Microwave. Sorry.
My microwave. Yeah.
Microwave.
Microwave.
Okay, so you like all the culinary gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Anne, what do you collect, Madam Anne Beastie?
Well, I don't know. It kind of changes from time to time depending on what I'm currently interested in.
Fluid collector.
So, like books, but I recently got into because I'm one of those people who will sit there on eBay and I'm like, okay, I want this, but I'm going to wait for one super cheap and I will stake it out. I will stay there for weeks. I will forget about it. I'll come back to it and be like, wait, no, I wanted that, which is probably not very good for my checkbook. But yeah, I recently got a bunch of action figures, which I'm not really an action figure person. I probably don't have.
Oh, she
more
said
than 12,
checkbook. How cute is that?
but
I know, isn't that cute?
well, I have a checkbook.
It's good. It's good that you're not a spontaneous shopper. It's good that you sit back and think, I don't need this, but I really like it, and I'm prepared to wait for a better price. I think that's really practical.
We all know Kagi collects gnomes. Or tomties.
Gnomes. Yep.
Tomties, yeah. Oh, I know. I love when she brings them out. And I think at Christmas time, mostly I've only ever seen them, but I'm sure Coggy's got one for every occasion. But I've seen when she brings them out at Christmas time. They're so adorable. So, Anne, come on. Honestly, what have you got more than 3 of? I think you're so much younger than me. You've got so much more potential to hoard and collect. And
Oh no, I'm already reaching a lot of hoarding potential. That's why I'm like, well, you know, I have a lot of stuff.
you do?
Yeah.
What kind of books? What kind of books do you like to read?
Many. I don't know.
Well, do
All
you
the
like?
ones you haven't.
Are you into like biographies, or are you into crime novels or romantic novels, or like I'm listening to Needles at the Ready and they're doing the whole man on man romance and they go into graphic detail. I'm looking for a little bit more detail. Like I like biographies. I like to read about other people's business and all their little scandalous things. What do you like? Do you like just to read boring, droll political books, or
I actually hate political books, which is hilarious because
You
people
read
are like, oh yeah,
podcast?
you've read this book. Yeah, you've read Newt Gingrich's biography. And I'm like, no, who wants that?
Oh, you don't?
Ugh,
Oh, you
no.
haven't?
No.
You didn't read Obama's book?
No, though I heard his ghostwriter's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Lawrence Fox? Wouldn't you read something by Lawrence Fox?
I don't think he's written anything to begin with, but I probably wouldn't. And
Really?
also, I have a couple Oh, I have one book. I think it's actually a trilogy or something that he recommended. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll pick that up. Never read it. Never.
Oh.
It was some World War I drama.
Right. Because I can't help myself with books. If I find an author that I like Debbie Macumba, I buy all the Debbie Macumba. If I buy a James Patterson, I buy all the James Patterson. I mean, I
don't like to read a book in a series unless the series is complete. Because too many times I've started a book series and they never finish. So if it's not complete, I won't start a series. I mean, if they're standalone books that happen to be with the same characters, that's different. But if it's like a series like Game of Thrones, no, I won't, because and it never gets done. And then
I have all the Terry Pratchett Discworld books, and they are fantastic.
Yeah, I have those.
There you go.
Oh, I
Like
thought it was
one
something else
author
to collect. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the one author that we read, Feist, Raymond Feist, has a series that he started like 40 years ago, and he's still adding books to it.
Wow.
So it's like every time a new book comes out, we debate, well, do we need to reread the others to remember what was going on before this book came out? Because it's been 5 years since the last book.
Right.
But what were you going to say, Morgan? What do you collect?
So, Kagi there in the comments, she said sunflowers and tattoos, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I've got a collection of, and get both in here, oh Lord, yeah, this is hard to show these tattoos and piercings. So I've got a whole collection of those.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I can't show you my tattoo, sorry, Morgan, because it's on my butt.
Oh,
She's got a tramp stamp.
We're not that kind of podcast.
I have not. I am not. Oh, could you imagine me in the middle of town dropping my dats and leaning over the seat like no, thank you.
Well, there's fog, Joe. Nobody can see.
It's not a collection because it's only one, so that's not a collection. You will never see it. Ha ha ha. No, God, should have to be rolling drunk to show you that on my backside. Let's not make that a goal, shall we?
Amy, are you listening to this? I'm sure you'll have words.
Amy needs to hear this.
Tabitha, I'm sure that you have comments about
Tabitha
this too.
needs to hear this.
No, like nobody in my family growing up ever had tattoos like that. Only one wayward cousin who my grandma used to chase around the kitchen table with a pair of scissors to cut his long hair. He was a long, tall, gangly guy with tattoos, and he did everything wrong. He gave me my first cigarette when I was 14, at the local swimming pool. Nobody ever, never. And so when I got my tattoo, which, by the way, was in New Jersey a long time ago.
New Jersey.
In Jersey a long time ago, I did not tell anybody from my family. I thought my mum would kill me, of course, and I don't think my dad even knows. Hi, Dad. I don't think my dad even knows. But I was terrified that someone would find out, see my big backside hanging out. And then my mum and my sister go out and get tattoos on their feet, right? And I'm in shock. And Mum comes home and says, oh, you got to see this tattoo, and it's a word, a name, and it's along the length of her foot, on the top of her foot. And I just looked at her, and I was so shocked. And I said to her, oh, I'm so glad you did that, because now I don't have to look at your face to identify your body in the morgue. I can just flip the sheet. I can just flip the sheet, look at your foot. It's a unique name that nobody in the world would ever have on their foot. I said, I can just flip the sheet, look at your foot and go, yeah, that's her. Good on you. Yeah. So there you go. How pleased am I that she got a tattoo on her foot? I really upset her saying that. She wasn't happy. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just look at the toe tag and say, just lift that a little bit higher, will you? But I'm also, I'm in my 50s. I'm in my 50s, and I remember very clearly I was in Philadelphia when my mum turned 50, and I actually rang her and said, happy birthday to you. You're half a century, yoo-hoo. And she hung up on me. I'm like, you're halfway there. Now it's all downhill from here. She hung up on me because I said, you're half a century. Who does that? Only me.
Joe
She
Biden.
Now
hung
I
up
know
on
where,
me.
yeah, Therese, I know where Millie gets it from.
Right?
Oh, stinker
Yeah,
of a kid.
that apple's right there under that tree.
Yeah. She is her mother's daughter.
Mother's daughter. I
Yeah.
love, because I never thought this would happen, but, you know, I don't care what I wear. It doesn't matter if the colours match or not. You know, a pair of board shorts with a mohair jumper, who cares? Silver hair, don't care. Sometimes Millie just looks at me. She's like, you're wearing that. And I'm like, yeah, get over yourself. And she's really, you're not wearing that, are you? I'm like, yeah, I'm wearing it. Can you see it on me? Not
That's a
out in
hippie
public.
thing. It's the hippie thing. Yeah.
Not out in public. Yeah,
Hippie
I
chick
am.
feral, I believe, is the style.
Feral
hippie
That's
chick.
the style.
Feral hippie chick, yeah.
Hippie chick. Yeah.
Do you know what?
Hashtag
I
feral hippie chick. Yeah.
always wanted a dog called Beryl, because then I could call her Feral Beryl.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you know anyone called Beryl? Beryl. Apologies if you do. It's an old
I
name.
don't personally. It's an older name. I've read it in books. People named Beryl, but I don't know anyone by that name.
Yeah, rhymes with Cheryl. But-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I always wanted a dog called Beryl, so I could say, you're Feral Beryl. Maybe one day in the future.
Okay. Or the next
One
wild
day.
animal one of your kids brings home.
Right.
Exactly.
Because there will be a next animal one of your
We need
kids
a
bring
Murray
home.
update. We need a Murray update.
Yeah.
Murray,
Oh.
I saw a picture of
Diddle-let,
her
diddle-let,
recently
diddle-let,
posted.
diddle-let.
I'm officially adopting Murray. I spoke to his previous owner last night, actually, and I said, Murray's going really well. And he said, oh, I forgot to ask about him. And I told him how Murray's a fat guts who loves his milk bottle, and now he's learning to be a sheep outside. And I said, oh, by the way, we're wondering if you want him back or can I keep him? And he said, oh, no, you've spoilt him. He doesn't even know he's a sheep, and he thinks he's a dog. And he said, oh, no, I wasn't asking for him back. And I said, oh, good, because I want his fleece next year.
Right?
So, yeah, I had a lovely chat to Billy Brown from out of town, and I said to him, can I keep Murray? I said to him, do you want Murray back? He's starting to be weaned. He's out in the paddock during the daytime. And he said, oh, no, I wasn't asking for him back, and it sounds like you've spoilt him too much anyway. So that's good.
Yeah.
That'll make Millie happy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so Murray's going well. He's still sleeping inside at night. I mean, oh, Therese knows. Sorry, girls, I haven't talked to anybody through the week except Therese and David. It was -6 degrees. It was -6 degrees Celsius. Oh, my gosh, this week. We had a -5 morning, and I survived that. And then we had -6 morning, and I just kept saying to everyone, I'm moving to a tropical island. I can't do it. I don't know how you live in the snow like that.
Morgan and I are looking at each other like, what's -6?
It's a typical day.
Right? Frost is -6. Taps that are frozen. You can't start your washing machine. The car is covered in this frost. Oh, I can't handle it. My feet are frozen in my sneakers. Oh, my goodness. I can't handle it.
We did get that cold when I lived in New Jersey. But where I am now, we do not get that cold.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I'm moving there then. I'm moving with
Good.
Amy.
And you can join me. You can join me in 117.
Morgan.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
-6 Celsius is 21 degrees Fahrenheit.
Freezing.
Tropical.
That's not even below 0.
Yeah, like here in Wisconsin and South
Freezing.
Dakota, like yes,
Michigan,
yes,
yeah.
that, -50.
Right.
It's bloody
Froggy's
freezing.
right. Yeah.
What?
No.
I don't know.
I can't do it, Cogs. I can't do it. It's bloody freezing. -6. My fingers are frostbitten.
Freezing.
My toes are cold. I can't think straight.
You better
Oh,
knit faster
it's
then, dude.
I can't get
You
a
better
thick
start
as-
up in Guano Station.
I cannot handle it. The cold. Ugh. I cannot.
Or
I
knit
just
more
cannot.
mittens.
Mittens.
Hey.
Yes.
I've finished the neck bit, I think. I'm up to round 8, which is an increase. Okay. I've finished it. I've got to remove, hang on. I've got to remove my waste yarn. Let me just do an extra stitch, just so I don't lose my stitch marker. Okay, well, that was easy, guys. Come on, join me.
Yeah.
Do a ranunculus. Let me just take
That's
my
right.
waste yarn out. Sorry, where's my camera? There we go. Let me see if my neck is bigger than Morgan's. I hope so. Sorry, Morgan, but I hope so,
That's
because I don't
okay.
have a pinhead. I don't like anything to be squeezing my throat unless it's, you know, diamonds.
They are a girl's best friend.
Yeah, okay. Let me take this undone. Oh, I love how you just, look, you just pull it through. Look at that. You know,
Mhm.
it just comes undone. That's tricky. Oh, where am I? Oh, just comes off. And then you can pull it out. Just pop the stitches. Oh, I love this. This is fun. Look at this. Pop, pop. Look, you just pop it
Very
out.
cool.
That is very cool. Pop it out.
Like dropping stitches. Yeah.
Yeah, and then pull it out.
Yeah.
So you
Hey
just
guys,
go.
we're starting to get a bunch of echoing.
Oh, are
We
we?
might want to end this.
Oh, okay. Well, I've done the neck. There you go. Oh no, my neck
Yay.
is nice and stretchy. Look
Yeah,
at
your
that.
neck's very stretchy. That's
Yeah.
gonna be very warm, Joe.
Oh, I hope so. Because, you know, freezing here, -6.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to end it here because we're getting bad echoes.
Oh, okay. No problems.
So,
Thanks for
thanks for
casting.
coming, everybody. Thanks for coming, Morgan and Ann.
having me.
Yeah.
And letting our guests stop by.
Thanks, chat.
Thanks,
Thanks
Morgan.
everybody for popping in and joining us, and
Oh,
post your pictures and hashtag Midnight Podcast on Instagram.
easy peasy. Let's do a
Mhm.
ranunculus.
Okay.
Okay, have a great day. Have a good evening.
Like,
Bye,
subscribe.
everybody.
Yeah.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.